Hey, so for those of you who I haven't talked to or weren't involved in the last one, my name is Cookie. I'm one of the army of people behind the scenes putting this whole thing together and trying to get it off the ground. On behalf of the Whiteboard team and the 107th and TTI, welcome to RedFlag 2062. This is the second event that we've done with sort of this new Red Flag initiative that we're trying to get off the ground. So as I sort of mentioned in the chat already, we would definitely love any feedback that you guys would have for us, from the products to the execution to the mission, all that sort of stuff. We'd love your guys' feedback so we can help make this as good as we can. There's going to be a lot of info in this brief, and we're going to have a couple different presenters doing different sections as well. So just ask that you guys hold off on any questions until the presenter asks, just so that we're not here all day. But we will have time to make sure all of your questions are answered, and there'll be plenty of time. So for the roster, you guys can take a look at all of the players on the right-hand side. This is everyone who's flying. So if you guys can just scan your flights just to make sure that there aren't any adjustments or amendments. And I'm going to do a roll call here with the flight leads just to see if there are any last-minute additions or corrections we got to make. So if you can just scan, make sure you see yourself there. Everyone who did a sign-up should see themselves listed, with the exception of the couple that we have on standby. Boris, I've got Zarups as your -2, one of the standby guys filling in. But other than that, we'll do a quick roll call and flight leads only. Goblins.
Up and no changes.
Copy, thanks. Kraken. Reaper. Reaper, Boris, you there? I think Boris is mobile, so you might be listening, but might not be able to talk. Indy, are you there? And any corrections to your guys' flight?
I'm here. Octo will not be participating.
Okay, copy. If you guys get a new -4, just let me know, but I'll show you a frag 3 ship for now. Ghosts?
Here.
Cool.
Here.
Spirit?
We're good.
Sweet. Phoenix?
Here, Asfrag.
Orc?
Represent Asfrag.
Phantom?
Ready in all respects.
No remarks.
Cool. Hades?
Here.
Demon? Kappa, I know wasn't there. Jaffa, are you there? I don't think Jaffa was able to make it either. So we are recording the brief as well for anyone who's missing it. But I'm tracking Kappa and Jaffa, I believe, aren't able to make it, but they're planning on reviewing. Banshee.
That's fragged.
Awesome. And Gremlins.
Hit. No changes.
Sweet. Okay, for the controller roster, so we got Void as the chairman, so he's going to be running like the air component commander. This is his Miz, so he has built this. This was sort of his brainchild, so he'll be filling the role of chairman in the background, just pulling the strings, making sure, hopefully, that we go up without a hitch. Wolf is going to be running combined ground and where is he? Tiger Hound. There we go. So yeah, he's working combined as both the ASOC and ground. So for those of you doing CAS, you'll hear him running Tiger Hound. Hermes is our tower controller. Tachi is running approach and departure. Guarded is Taxi 2 is Chalice. And then we got Pizza last minute in add-in for the JTAC under call sign Oki, also operating as the Balo. And Brainiac is JTACing, and Capo will be FAC A under call sign Demon 3-1. So quick shout out to the controllers before we even get started, because you can have the best made mission in the world, but without controllers, it never really feels, bless you, never really feels like it comes to life. So thank you guys for putting in the work. From the controllers side of things as well, we've been working the controllers perspective since the outset of this mission, so hopefully it's not going to just feel like you guys are facilitating the mission, but we should actually you should feel like a part of it as well. So that was sort of something we're intending on this one, and we hope it pans out. So we'd love your guys' feedback when it's done as well. For the chord card, lots of info in here. I'm not planning on going over all of it, but we're currently on version 1, change 1 is the most recent. So on the back half of the chord card, the push point was the push point column was changed to a laser deconfliction plan. So if all you guys potentially drop an air to ground ordnance, just direct you to the laser decon column there, where you can see the pre-fragged lasers, just to make sure we're not conflicting with one another. There are 2 things on here that I'm willing to bet there's a 50-50 chance people have seen before or used before. And so for the 50% who haven't, I wanted to include this. So in the bottom left corner of the chord card, the front half of the chord card, you can see the ramrod. For anyone who's never seen one before, has no idea what it's for encrypting information on an unencrypted radio. It can also be used as like a challenge reply thing. So sometimes the person on the radio isn't actually the blue controller, as an example. So if you wanted to challenge the blue controller, sorry, I might have fucked up the stream there. If you want to challenge the blue controller as an example, if let's say Goblin was checking in with Chalice and was doing their check-in, say like Chalice, Goblin 1, Alpha check, Odin 110, 35, Angels 29 as fragged, authenticate Yankee Mike, right? And so like that authentication code's coming from the Ramrod. So if you look at the Ramrod, there's Yankee and Mike are in spots 5 and 7, and there's one letter in between, which is the challenge. So if Chalice it truly is a blue controller who has the Ramrod, then he knows what letter was sandwiched in the middle, and then he can authenticate and say Goblin 1, Alpha check, sweet, cleared to, what is it, Georgia, block 28, I authenticate Mike, right? Or November, whatever it was. So you can use the Ramrod as a challenge authenticator thing, and for people who haven't used a Ramrod before, the controllers are expecting that, so feel free to challenge them if you want to do something new. The main reason I'm bringing it up is because we do have an unplanned frequency change for some of you guys, which wasn't actually part of the mission planning. We just sort of found it last minute. So there's a possibility some of you may be issued a frequency using the Ramrod. So you might hear Reaper 1 kick 2, or I'm sorry, kick Golf Delta Yankee Mike Yankee, right? So you might hear something along those lines, and so that's someone giving you the frequency using the Ramrod. It wasn't actually planned, and so I wanted to give that to you guys because it's going to be challenging enough, even though you know it's coming now. But I at least wanted to set you guys up for success. So I encourage flight leads to have their wingmen sort of challenge them on trying to decipher radio frequencies with the Ramrod, because for some of you, like I said, it was unplanned, but some of you can expect that will be a reality during the mission. Last thing is TADS. So TADS is another thing that I don't know if everybody's used. So because channels are different between different aircraft, and everyone might not be channelized the same, and you want to keep the frequencies secure. Instead of being told to push a frequency or a channel by a tactical controller, Chalice, for the CAS guys as an example, when you're talking to Chalice, he's going to tell you to push green 1, right? So he's telling you to push to Oki on TAD green 1. If you're going to hit the gas, you might be told to push purple 2, right? And so that's just a way of communicating the radios in a way that some people might not have used before. So I just wanted to sort of pre-brief those so you guys understand how they work. Any questions on the chord card?
I've got one comment request from text chat. Just a request to simplify or otherwise truncate the Ramrod down to one single non-repeating word. Recommend either dynamic, sandbox, or champion. Main reason I'm saying, if somebody's working just mentally off of the card because they're in VR and they don't have either a virtual kneeboard or something that they can reference, and somebody challenges Echo Golf, that could be authenticated Alpha or technically Lima. It wouldn't really be proper because it would be Golf Echo authenticate Lima, but still you have 2 brackets in Eagle Dynamics if you were working off it just off of your head. So I just recommend single word, non-repeating, and that way, if somebody's working that way, they can still kind of, make it without difficulty. I apologize. I'm also coming off of sickness, so I apologize if my English is dog shit at any point.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate it, and it's a valid point for sure. I probably, just so people can practice with it for as long as possible, I'm probably not going to change it this time around, but I absolutely think that's a valid point on the next one. This will be included in the in-game kneeboards as well, and I am VR as well. So this will be cut into 2. So your each half will be its own kneeboard. So hopefully, depending on your resolution, it should still be legible in VR. But yeah, so I'll act that though on the next one for sure, man. Valid point. Any other points, questions, concerns, anything like that?
We get a product with the frequencies and the colors.
Sure, send it. Yeah, the TAD, yeah.
Yeah, will we get a product with those on at some point, or? Yeah,
so this kneeboard is going to be in your kneeboards. So you've got access to this now, so you can start going over it, but it'll also be in the Miz. So when you open up your kneeboards, you'll be able to access it.
It's reference center right page too, Rich.
Yeah, but just like the frequencies on their own, just all on one sheet. But yeah, I mean, that works. It's no worries.
Yeah, I think under resources as well, I put the comm plan for what most of your jets should be programmed to as well. I'll who was that? Who was asking?
It'd be Kraken, or correction, Goblin 1. Rich.
Okay, sounds good. I'll find out where I threw that in the RedFlag Discord, and I'll at you. It's just it's a notepad document or something that just says what.
I think I've seen it, but it doesn't have the colors.
Yeah, it has them written out, but
okay, but when it does, then
yeah, and this kneeboard's available to you too. It's an annex in the ATO.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Actually,
Yep. Good.
one more small thing. This might be more internally for the hog zone. I wish our fat guy was here. For the data link settings, I'm seeing that we're all set for 07 group ID and then stacking own ID, so we're all on the same flight frequency. Is that intentional for us to all be ganged up on the same group ID?
I'm sorry. Were you talking the Tyndalls or the
Link 16 data link?
Yeah. It's really just deconflicted, so no two people are the same.
Okay.
As long as you want to pick something else, as long as it's not what anybody else is running, the Tyndalls are a secondary point. You can adjust them as you see fit.
Okay. And then bouncing off of that, will we have any FM radio frequencies fragged either for the mission or for flight specifically? Because I imagine the hogs might utilize that very heavily as intra-flights.
Yeah, I'll get if you guys just want to deconflict amongst yourselves, I don't think there's going to be a need outside of the cast guys. Yeah, so
Okay.
on the flight lead chat there, that's a good point. If just get like the A10s and the other cast guys. Anyone who's looking to use FM, just chime in on the flight lead chat, just to deconflict FM.
Got it. I'll take care of that.
Cool. All right, so commander's intent. Yeah, go ahead.
Just one last thing. For the laser codes, are those hard set, or are we allowed to utilize our own?
Yeah, you can utilize your own as long as there's no conflict. So as long as you know it's not conflicting with anything, feel free. These laser codes should work with every aircraft, so I don't think there would be an issue. But if you wanted to change them, I don't think there's any issue with that.
My only concern with that as well is if we need to do laser spot search or tracking for anybody, it would be a lot better if we stick to the frag laser codes.
Yeah, I'd agree. It'd be ideal to stick, and that's all of them should be compatible with all airframes. So ideally stick into the laser decon plan, but if you really had a need to change, then just communicate that.
From a mission making standpoint, if any of your flights are carrying laser weapons, your weapons should, in brackets, please check when you load in, but should already be set on your laser decon plan, and that is most important to the Strike Eagles because obviously you guys, Shiftus and Theo, it's hard coded in that it has to be done in the editor. But I think it'll show you in the default kneeboard. But yeah,
that might be a Shiftus. That might be why it doesn't work.
Those lasers should all be in your jets ready to go. So if you change it, you have to change it in the bomb as well and all that kind of thing. So I'd recommend sticking with them. And then if you're like really hard set on using a laser code, send it my way and we can maybe update it on the cards and in the mission before game day.
Sweet, thanks, Wood. Okay, we'll keep pressing. So commander's intent mission is the same as the op order and everything else. You guys have hopefully already read it, so I'll just skip this one for now in the interest of time. For the AO, apologize, it's got a little stretched on the post-editing standpoint, so the range looks a little wider than it should. But this is the AO. We're primarily working south of the container, the battalion airspace highlighted in green, and our primary hold and the CPs are listed in the Sally corridor there. Fight access, you guys can expect an east to west fight. Any questions on the AO overview or anything else we've covered so far? And I'll be handing off to Mage here for the in-brief. Cool. Mage, it's floor is yours.
All right. Excellent. Perfect. So I will be conducting today's intelligence brief for Red Flag 26 TAC 2. Next slide, please. There we go. Situation: tensions between Blue Land and Redlandia have reached a critical flashpoint following months of decaying diplomatic relations over disputed territorial borders and strategic energy corridors. Redlandian officials have increasingly framed Bluelandia's defensive posture and joint security initiatives as an existential threat to its regional hegemony. 3 weeks ago, Redlandia unilaterally declared a security exclusion zone across the contested border. Following Blue Land's rejection of this illegitimate boundary, Redlandia initiated rapid military buildup of forces under the guise of a snap inspection exercise. Recent interactions between Redlandian forces and Blue Land air assets have been characterized as unsafe and unprofessional. The assessment, given this buildup of Redlandian forces along the FLOT and rapid deployment of strategic HIMAT assets, it is highly likely Redlandia has shifted from a defensive to an imminent offensive posture. Furthermore, it is likely Redlandia will shift to a kinetic warfare within the next 24 hours. Next slide. Enemy forces, Redlandia maintains strong defensive positions along the forward line of troops, utilizing a battalion strength of mechanized infantry, artillery, air defense, and special forces, primarily consisting of rapid response air forces, assault forces. Signal intelligence has detected the presence of Redlandian SA-11, SA-15, SA-19 surface-to-air missile systems along the Flot, with an SA-10 HIMARS sites denying NATO access to Redlandian airspace west of the Flot. Intelligence has identified heightened buildup of enemy forces in the AO. Redland's forward deployment of air assault forces occurred following a heightened training tempo on special operations to include sabotage, air assault, and ambush mission sets. These movements, paired with general increases in mechanized infantry strength and the bolstering of MRAD assets, indicates offensive action by Redland is imminent, although specific modality of the attack is unknown. Next slide. So we're looking at a overslide of the IADs. We have ELINT access to 3 SA-10 sites, 1 top, middle, and bottom, and 1 SA-11. And along the Flot here, we have a number of mechanized short-range surface-to-air missile systems. We are looking at about a 37-mile buffer between Nellis and the SA-10 IADs. In this middle section, you'll see a cutout of the SA-11, and in the top, we're also looking at that cutout for the SA-10 as well. Next slide. Nope, just back one, please. There you go. So highlighted here is the Flot, and we also have that, it's about a 9-mile trespass, 9 nautical mile trespass from the Flot to friendly air. And next slide. Here's a zoomed out photo of the Flot. The most likely course of action is Redlandian forces will conduct a deliberate phased advance southeast along the US 95 MSR in an effort to isolate Blue Land forces in the valley and seize key terrain such as Sheep Mountain Range and Creech Air Force Base. Most dangerous course of action is Redlandian forces will advance southeast beyond Sheep Mountain Range, executing multi-axis strikes and long-range fires directly against critical civilian infrastructure with the intention of causing maximum non-combatant casualties and sever Blue Land logistic networks. Next slide. So the next few slides will be a list of Redland assets that we expect to be deployed. This one was the MiG-29 CR Fulcrum with 6 hard points, operating ceiling 59,000, radar range of 70 to 100 nautical miles. Most deadly weapon will be the AA-12 Adder with a range of 21 to 27 nautical miles. It is important to note with these air-to-air weaponry that this is given the best optimal use of this weapon. In a combat situation, these ranges may vary significantly, so keep that in mind. Next slide. Next, we have the Su-30 Flanker C with a operational ceiling of 57,000, 10 hard points, radar range of 54 to 64 nautical miles. Most deadly weapon will be the AA-12 Adder with a range of 21 to 27 nautical miles. And next slide. Next, we have the Su-34 Fullback, operational ceiling of 49,000, 12 hard points, air range of 50 to 60 nautical miles. Most deadly weapon is again the AA-12 Adder at 21 to 27 nautical miles. Next slide. The JG-1 Winglong drone with operational ceiling of 16,000, 2 hard points, and its standard configuration is 2 times AKD-10s, which are effectively GBU-12 equivalents. Next slide. The A-50 Mainstay with an operational ceiling of 50,000 is an air radar range of 350 nautical miles and a ground range of 160 nautical miles. No standard configuration. This would be the Red 4 standard AWACS aircraft. And next slide. The MI-8, operational ceiling of 18,000, assorted ground ordnance, also capable of carrying a complement of 24 troops. Next slide. MI-28, 18,000 for its operational ceiling, endurance of 2 hours. It is capable of having the air and ground radar both at 11 nautical miles and carries an assortment of ground ordnance to include ATGMs. Next slide. The SA-10 Grumble. This is the 3 HIMAD systems that they will be operating. It has an operational ceiling of 88,000, max range of 40 to 48 nautical miles. However, if you are a larger aircraft, this range can be extended. That range applies to fighter-sized aircraft. On your radar, on your RWR, this will populate as a CS or a 10. Capacity is 4 missiles per telerector launcher, and typically we see about 4 to 8 TELs per battery. They're simultaneously 12. They can track up to 12 max targets. However, they are only capable of guiding 6 missiles at a time. Reload time is typically 50 to 60 minutes. It is capable of self-protection. Handoff to fire is about 5 to 15 seconds. And time to impact at 15 nautical miles is typically 20 to 25 seconds. It is comprised of 4 different systems. You have the 4-canister TEL, which is your launcher, clamshell, which is your low-altitude target acquisition radar, your Big Bird, which is your high-altitude target acquisition, and then your flap lid, which is your target engagement radar. If you need to take out an SA-10, the best thing to go for is the flap lid, which is the bottom right here. If that goes down, it is not capable of firing. Next slide. SA-11 Gadfly, operational ceiling of 72,000, max range of 19 to 22 nautical miles, populates on the RWR as an SD/11. Each missile system carries 4 missiles. It is capable of a single target track and 2 missiles per target. Reload time is 15 to 20 minutes. It is not capable of self-protection. Handoff is 20 to 22 seconds. Time to impact of 15 is 23 to 28 seconds. The Snowdrift radar operates as a extension of the actual TELARs. So while each system is independently able to track and engage targets, the Snowdrift acts as a EWR for the system. Just know if the Snowdrift itself goes down, each TELAR is capable of self-engaging. Next slide. The SA-19 Grison, operational ceiling of 20,000, max range of 4.3 to 6.5 nautical miles. RWR is an S6 or 19. Capacity is 8 missiles per unit and has 1,900 rounds of 30 millimeter. It is a single target track, and it is capable of utilizing its full payload on a target. Reload time is 10 to 15 minutes, self-protection, and handoff is 8 to 10 seconds. Being that the max range is 6.5 nautical miles, time to impact at 15 is not applicable. If you get tracked or locked on by it, it is recommended you do the pilot shit. Next slide. SA-15 Gauntlet, operational ceiling 20,000, max range of 6.5 nautical miles, populates on the RWR is 15, has 8 missile systems, 8 VLS missiles, simultaneous track of 2 targets, 2 missiles per target. Reload is 10 to 15 minutes. It is capable of self-protection. Handoff is at 5 to 8 seconds and not applicable for the time to impact. Next slide. SA-22 Greyhound. Operational ceiling is 49,000. Max range is 10.8 nautical miles. RWR is a 22. Has 12 missiles per system with an additional 1,430 millimeter rounds. Is capable of 4 targets per simultaneous track. However, only 2 missiles per target. Reload time is 15 to 30 minutes, which is pretty common for all of these short-range mobile systems. It is capable of self-protection. Handoff is 4 to 6 seconds. Next slide. Is there any questions?
I have a question.
What's up?
Spirit. I'm Spirit Flight level 2. I just have a question about the pattern of life for the SA-11. Is it going to be executing blank tactics, and will it be like, is that a set position, or will it probably be moving around?
Can we go up just a few slides to the IADs?
Yeah, I can answer that from like a mission making perspective in terms of like a now bit out of lore. All the mobile systems are actively using IADs with their relocate script. So yes, they will turn off, change their engagement ranges, and relocate if they feel like it.
Sweet.
So here would be my question, kind of bouncing off of that, though. If we know that's going to be a possibility, but we also know, relatively speaking, there's an SA-11 behind the line, could we potentially utilize, I believe there was an artillery battery somewhere near Creek Springs. Do we know what that is? Is that a Paladin, or is that something with Gimblers?
Once again, we have Paladin. I think from memory, the 11 would be out of range of it, but it is possible for, and something I'd be down to integrate from something like the JTAX and the FAC-A is any kind of frontline targets if you want to coordinate with the Paladin through the CAC, or through the CFAC, that is a possibility.
Okay. My main reason in context with the SA-11 is really, if that's a site kind of dedicated to the front line and it's got a lot of SHORAD against it, that might be very heavily defended to try and get either seed or deed in to really penetrate and kill that site very effectively so we can operate over the FOB. That might be something we might want to get the artillery to do, if we can.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Int?
Just one more. It's quick. Sorry.
Go ahead, Vortex. You're good.
So I just wanted to ask, will there be a lowdown on station for the SAM locations or no?
There will be a lowdown, but the controllers aren't going to have. They're going to be working off pre-scripted info on what they can't see all of the sites, so that you'll get a lowdown, but they might not. It's not going to be 100% God seeing accurate.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like standard lot ATC capabilities in combination with like IADs, right? So they're all going to have emitters off and relying on like the 10s and the EWRs, and then only turn on briefly. And then depending on the strength of the emission, guarded might pick up. So yeah, lowdowns will be available, like potentially. They'll probably give one at the start and give them where applicable. But it's not going to be just F10. This is where all the SAMs are. Yeah, it's
No worries. Thank you.
All right, cool. So for the air-to-ground section, unfortunately, Kappa got tied up and wasn't able to make it. So we're just going to hammer through his slides real quick. If you guys have questions, I'll do my best between myself and Void to try and answer them.
Kappa's in the call, or is he just not here?
He's in the call, but he's occupied and he's not going to be able to provide the brief, but he's listening in. But yeah, so we'll roll through the slides here, and then if you guys have any questions, we'll do our best to answer, and if not, we can direct them towards Kappa, who can give you guys any answers in the Discord. So it looks like he's primarily talking about the force employment here. There are 3 IPs that you guys are going to be using. So the CP Oklahoma and CP Texas are listed, and then you can expect 3 IPs in use: IP Quartz to the north, IP Stone in the middle, and IP Indian is near Indian Springs. So reference the FLOT, that'll be north to south for the 3 IPs. Just talk about the friendly movements here. It looks like if you have questions on the friendly movements and how they're going to be operating in the FLOT, feel free to reach out to Kappa. Any questions, overarching questions, conceptually on the order or the ground phase? And these slides
Are friendly forces going to be mostly Western vehicles, or are there going to be some Eastern mixed in that we need to ID?
UK and US forces.
Yeah, are you talking like the types of vehicles, or are you talking like physical location on the FLOT?
Types of vehicles. That way we're not having to ID Russian versus Russian.
Yeah. It's all going to be Western stuff for Blue 4.
Thanks.
You bet. Any other questions?
Question for the JTAX, if there are any here, or for you, Cookie. We're
Yeah,
checking with JTAX. Are we checking in at IP, or is there a desired
Checking at
range?
CP.
Checking
Checking
Yes.
at CP.
Okay, checking point. Copy.
Perfect.
Unless there's something that Kappa had.
No, I think that's good. But in essence, like you'll be told by Chalice to push to ASOC, and then ASOC will push you off to the JTAX.
Copy that.
One small question just to wrap up.
Cool.
Are we expecting any sort of smack type tasking? We have hostile forces maneuvering towards friendlies, but they're not in close proximity yet. We don't need to do full on cast procedures. Are we expecting any of that, or are we mostly expecting positive control all the way from inbound to ordnance?
I would love to know, and it entirely depends what Red Forces do, but I would just expect the full spread of possibilities. But as to what we're actually going to get, that'll be a game day thing to sort of figure out.
Okay, got it.
Cool. All right, C2 guarded. Were you able to make it? And do you have anything you wanted to brief?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yes. Send it there, buddy.
It's gonna be pretty quick. I just want to go over a couple things here. I know some of you guys are familiar with what I've been doing. Give me a second. I need to pull it up. All right. From the C2 side, blocks and holes, like we've all talked about, that's on your cord cards. If you do want something different, obviously just ask at your check-in or send it in the briefing room before the mission, and I'll work with you. Nothing's obviously set in stone. Things are going to change. For check-in, you guys know the only important thing for check-in wise, check in with your words. There's probably a possibility that words comes out before you guys are on the net. I'm going to go over how you guys are going to know that. But if you do have words before the check-in, please check in with them. And if you have a previous one, obviously I'll pass the delta. But if you guys are familiar how to do that, make sure you're doing that. Two, I'm just going to go over this again. Most of you guys should know this. Especially for our cast flights, when you guys are going over to your JTAC, please keep at least -2 on blue 1 at all times. I know you guys are already going to do that, just making sure nothing happens. I'm just going to, again, clarify that. And finally, the one thing that's important that I go over here is I created a script to somewhat simulate Link 16 free text. It uses that message box on the top right, just like you've seen in maybe if you played TTI and you see the AWAC screen. It's just like that, but it's manually I can send to flights, to everyone, or to a direct jet. So I'm going to use that, especially for words. So that's how you guys might get words before you check in. So it will come with a tone, and you guys will see it on the top right. So you will know it's there. That's going to be mainly admin side, so I can keep the voice channel clear. First will probably be reminders and stuff like that. That's another thing. If things are going to be changed before you check in, I may clarify something while you're on the ground, and you will see that text. This is obviously going to be like my first go at using this text system, so grab me with any feedback you guys want or have for me on that one. It's going to look a little different. It's going to feel weird, but I think it's going to help me, given I'm going to be one of the only C2s during this entire mission, so it's going to help me out for sure. You can move to that roll call slide if you want. Roll call. I assume most of you guys are familiar with how to do a roll call. It's in your cord card order, like it's listed there. Either me or the MC will call for roll call. You obviously list and the cord card order, and you'll answer with your call sign. If you've checked in with exceptions, restate them here as well so other flights can hear it. If it's important enough, it's probably going in words anyway, but do it anyway. I'm assuming you guys already all know how to do roll call, so I won't go all over it unless anyone has questions, but I think that was mainly it from my side. So if anyone has questions for me or anything like that, you can go for that.
I just had a quick point on seed coordination as well. So just making sure you guys are coordinating accurately with the seed players, that you know how to communicate with them so that they can respond if you end up getting, for the cast guys as an example, if you stumble across a SHORAD or something like, or an MRAD or anything like that, just make sure you know how to communicate with the seed guys so that they can react. That was just the last point, I think. Any questions for C2?
Regarding the air fight, looking in the spins, it's not. Oh no, just quick question. I mean, so who has commit authority here for the? Is it going to be AWACS or is it going to be the fighters?
It's joint, so fighters are free to self-commit. There's just criteria in there for when C2 will directive commit. So there's certain criteria that if you haven't, as the flight lead, called the commit at a certain point, then C2 has benchmarks where they also have authority to call the commit.
Okay.
So you're free to, short stories, yeah, you're free to call the commit as the pilot, but C2 may directive commit if certain criteria are met.
Sure.
One minutia question to bounce off that.
Oh.
Yep.
So, actually, if you could jump to the slide with the roll call on it. Actually, the SAM terminology, my bad. So as far as the mud and dirt for that, are we expecting that to be called on Chalice Package Freak alongside the air-to-air, or could we pass that if we're attached to the ASOC or FAC or JSAC? Could we pass it to them and have them pass it through their internal channels up through the ASOC to the CAC?
Yeah, I would just expect that if you're defending a SAM, you're just pulling the transmitter, and if it's being received by a different controller, then they will do the work on the back end.
My main reason why I'm saying that, though, is if we have situations where we do have pop-up SAM sites in the middle of a commit and a picture call, that might be something we want to go ahead and brief and say, hey, if there is a picture call and you need to make a mud call, try and pass it through one of the ground force component commander branches rather than the air force component command branches.
Yeah,
Because-
and as long as, the way I see it is, as long as the info gets passed and gets passed as quickly as possible, it's the right way of doing business. So I won't really dictate what to do in those instances, but for sure, flight leads, that might be something worth sort of having in a contract with your wingmen, and in the event something has to get passed on a secondary freak or anything like that.
Rich, you want to jump in with any opinions on that?
Well, what Cookie said, it just, as long as the job gets done, all is good. I mean,
there we go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of passionate opinions on how to how to structure comms, right? And you get a lot of people who say like it's sacrilege to have your seed dudes off net with your ground and pounders, and I totally ack it. It's a valid point. This is just one of the ways we're going to roll with it, and then if there's another way that you could have seen this mission go better from a comm standpoint, absolutely give us that in feedback, and like I said, we'll try and make these. The goal is always to make the last one better than the first one. So if you guys have any opinions, all opinions are valid. So feel free to pass them off once the mission's done.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what the context he's talking about, but if you say defending, that means you're no longer responsible for deconfliction, right? So if Chalice gives you a block and then somebody calls defending, just for everyone operating around them, just recognize that means that they're no longer going to be responsible for separation. They could be descending down into your block, defending a shot. Hopefully you're also not that close, but just so you're tracking, it's a possibility. So if someone calls defending, ideally give your position as well, so that other players in your area know to look out for you and try and get out of your way. Big concern with that is going to be airspace deconfliction, but specifically if you defend over battalion airspace. Battalion owns 180 and below in the 64, 65 series ranges. And so your defending call might not be heard once again by the CAS players. So you call defending and descend into battalion airspace. The way I'm sort of calling it on this one is for anyone who descends into battalion airspace without clearance from ASOC when they're defending, you are not relinquishing deconfliction responsibility for CAS players. So if you're in battalion airspace without clearance, defending or otherwise, you're still responsible for deconfliction.
Yeah, it's also, yeah. There you go. You go, Sander. Or do you want me to cover it? Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, it's good points. Any other questions for C2? We're going to go into the airspace entry procedures and stuff like that next. Are there any questions for C2 other than like airspace admin stuff?
Real quick. So I'm Tiger Hound. I'm going to be the ASOC. If I will be listening to C2, if I hear somebody defending over battalion airspace, if I catch it, I will pass along to the cast players that it may impact. If I miss it, I will try my best to rectify it, or if it's nowhere near a cast player, it will just be an advisory. So if I don't hear it, still be on the lookout for everybody. If you are defending and you break contact and you're not within our airspace, I will still give them a caution in case they have to climb or descend, stuff like that. So if you ever have any issues like that, I'll try my best to pass along to the JTACs, cast players, and everybody, so they can go like, okay, I could look at this altitude, see the traffic, and be able to move when needed.
Yeah, and if you have the opportunity and the bandwidth to pass it, for sure. But we'll just make sure everyone's on the same page that it'll be the defending fighter. If you defend into battalion airspace without a clearance to be there from ASOC, you're still responsible for deconfliction in battalion airspace. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay, cool. Departure briefing. We're going to be taking off out of Nellis. The intent of the mission is we are going to be looking at the weather in Nellis the day of and replicating live weather as best we can. We'll obviously make some adjustments if we have to, if by chance they're completely socked in and it wouldn't make air to ground realistic. We'll make some adjustments as we need, but the intent is to base as much as we can off the live weather. We'll plan departures off 3 left unless the winds very much dictate 2 ones, but ideally, even with the minor tailwind, we're going to be prioritizing 3 left if possible for departures. There's a slight change for those who haven't seen the latest change to the ATO, primarily affecting the A10s, but assuming for everyone except for the A10s, you're taking the Mormon Mesa 8, and once you hit the Mormon Mesa Vortac, turn direct Dream and contact Chalice for your stack and block assignment. For A10s, if we're IMC, you'll be doing the same thing. What's changed is if we are VMC for A10s, your primary departure is going to be the A10 VFR departure north, so it's going to be out Apex to Dry Lake, and then Dry Lake just working north direct to your stacks. Check in with Chalice as soon as you can. That should give you a shorter en route time. It'll be, assuming 250 ground speed, it'll be about a 14.5-minute flight. And so with the last A10s, I think are taken off at like 13 past, and your push time at half past, it'll give you, for the last guy, a couple-minute buffer anyways to get there without having to Rolex. If we are IMC, obviously A10s, you're going to have a little bit longer to fly, so we'll likely Rolex as needed, but just do your best to get up and get there as soon as you can if the weather impacts your ability to do the VFR departure. This is what the overview looks like of those 2 departure types. So the A10s, you are the hot pink line there, so you got Dry Lake, and then turn direct to your hold points. I think all of you are holding at Florida, so it's nice and easy. For everybody else, you're the purple line, so just showing you going via the Mormon Mesa and then a turn direct Dream, and then just check in with Chalice as soon as you make that turn direct Dream. You don't need to fly all the way to Dream. Chalice, when he can, that's really just a feeder route is between the Mormon Mesa and Dream. Chalice, once he gives you your clearance to your stack and your block, you're good to turn direct either Georgia or Florida, whatever he clears you to. If he only gives you a block, just keep flying direct Dream and climb for your block. But once he clears you to either Georgia or Florida, you're good to turn direct. Any questions on the entry procedures, airspace entry?
Got a couple on departure. If anybody else has small questions, I've got a bit of a yappy meal, so go ahead.
Yeah, I got one from Gremlin 2. So the stack points, are those waypoints going to be loaded into each individual's flight?
Yep. Yeah. So we'll have the DTC going out probably today, latest tomorrow. Everyone will have the DTC, and then they'll be loaded in the DTCs, and then you guys, it's just going to be a mission-wide DTC. So then we'll toss it to the flight leads, and then you guys can make the adjustments as needed. But yeah, they'll be in there.
Okay.
And if something goes south as well, they're also listed on the cord card. So if by chance something gets fucked up and you need to push them in and just push them manually, then you can do that as well.
Okay.
It's just one quick one for me. Just a sanity check. Picking up clearance from ground, right? Before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, you get a clearance from for the guys flying the Mormon Mesa 8. You'll get an IFR clearance for the departure.
Sure. Sweet.
Cool. Yappy meal. Send it.
Okay, if that was going to be first question, so A10s were VFR either way. Don't pick up a clearance on ground. Just say, hey, we're ready to taxi.
Yeah, unless we're IMC, of
Nope.
course, and just you can request the A10 North, A10 North departure, but yeah, you won't get a clearance per se. If we're IMC, obviously you'll have to do the Mormon Mesa 8 till you're 1,000 above.
Okay,
That's on
dope.
top.
Because I was gonna cancel at Dry Lake anyway to get rid of the IFR minimum. So dope. Second question's kind of rolling on. Could we jump back to the top-down view of Nellis real quick? So as far as spawn points for the aircraft, do we know where everybody's going to be spawning at?
I can talk through that if you want.
Okay.
Go ahead, Void.
So A10s are in the A10 parking over in the live ordnance loading area. So all that
Okay.
you're on like the Y ramp.
Beautiful.
All the guests, so anyone who's not a 107th member, you're in what I like to call the red flag parking down by like the Alpha North and Alpha South EORs down in the bottom left. And then all of our 107th members, they're kind of simulated being at home squadrons, and they're kind of spread out between like the rows 21 up to 43.
Beautiful. Okay, so on that side. Okay, in that case, as far as ground ops and stacking people in the EORs, is that something y'all expect to do in terms of staging flights short of the runways, or do you expect to just taxi people straight onto the taxiway short of the runway and go?
Void, I'll give that one to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say from my perspective, because we have fragged takeoff times. If you're in a vol takeoff time, I'd recommend taxiing ASAP and then waiting at an EOR or even
Beautiful.
holding short
Okay.
for the first takeoff time. So like, yeah, your takeoff time is a takeoff time, not a taxi time. Like ideally for vol 1, like having everyone lined up in Alpha North and Alpha South EORs before the takeoff time will make everything a lot easier for everyone.
Amen. Beautiful.
Instead of all waiting to taxi at the same time. So yeah,
Preach.
I'd say taxi as soon as possible. Only difference being if you're a Vol 2 aircraft who's like, I want to, because the takeoff times, like for Vol 2, are a bit more flexible. Like if you're a Vol 2 aircraft and you're like, fuck it, I want to go take off and pre-Vol tank and take off half an hour early, power to you, but wait for Vol 1 to depart first, obviously. But besides that, yeah, taxi to the URs. Yeah.
I'm going to be over there in the Lolo with my honey bunny up on the dash with the canopy up, listen to the deep hearts. Don't worry, I'll be there, and so will Sarge. Following on from that, so this is kind of less departure procedures and going back to kind of overall scram Loki calls. So I saw we had a code word for scramming cast flights, getting them to flow retrograde. Do we want to come up with a location for them to kind of flow to? And if so, might I recommend literally just 2 miles north of Bulls outside of the battalion airspace? Main reason is if we have any SHORAD in with the battalion, that place might be covered, as well as an A10. That rock is perfect, man. We did a workup internally with SERP, and I did have to flow retrograde to that rock, and I felt like I could fight the fucking world at that rock.
Yeah, man.
So,
the intent with our mission planning on this one is to leave some of those tactical decision making to the flight leads and for you guys to coordinate amongst yourselves. So if you guys want to develop your own SOP for how to do that, just obviously keep an ear out to the controllers because the picture might dictate that you need to do something else. But 100% that sort of detail we wanted to leave to you guys to sort out and do whatever you think is best.
Okay, in that case, I'd say for the OCA flights and DCA flights and for the controllers, if you guys give Hades a scram call and you don't give us a location that you want to, we're just going to go to Odin. We're just going to go to the reference point.
That's good. And yeah, you guys can work out the details as well in the briefing chat if there are any questions or follow-ons there. Does somebody else have something they wanted to?
No, all I was going to say real quick is flight leads, if you guys want, we can meet directly after this just to kind of start thinking through contracts. So,
yeah.
Yeah, there's also a chat as well. If anyone's not tracking, there's a briefing room chat available to the flight leads. If you guys haven't seen that already, that's a good spot as well for after your meetings. If there are any follow-on questions for the flight leads to chat back and forth, send the question.
Are we utilizing 3 left only, or are we departing multiple runways?
We're going to be prioritizing 3 left. Is going to be the goal. 3 left. You can request if you request 3 right, and there's no issue. Ground will taxi you 3 right. Go with the flow. Don't request an opposite direction because then everyone will boo you. But yeah, we'll use both if we have to, but it should be fine.
And one quick one from Goblin. Do we have like a mission like like what when it unpauses, like what local time, just to have an idea of just how much time we have on the ground. I think
Yes,
Goblin's
sir.
first up.
Yeah, I've got that. It's going to be on one of the last slides. I'll have the game day timings, IRL
Okay.
Zulu time stacked with the in-game Zulu time. So I'll cover that at the end of the brief here.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. We'll press for the recovery. So at the end of it, once again, because we're using live weather, we can't forecast what runway we're going to be using. Once again, we'll be prioritizing 2-1 for recoveries, but if the winds dictate it, obviously we may have to recover on 3. So the plan for 3 is that you guys will proceed to your for the A10s, you'd proceed direct Sarah. So once you RTB or whatever, you go from the CPs south to Sarah, and then Sarah Gas Peak for the strike recovery. For everybody else, you would go direct Dream and then plan for the Mint recovery. The reason you're going direct Dream is specifically to give Traycon some time to sequence you. So you, once again, just like going in, you might not have to overfly Dream. Just ask you point towards Dream, check in with approach as soon as you can, and then they'll try and get you direct Mint, or they'll give you a vector for sequencing. So you plan the Mint recovery for 3. If anyone's unfamiliar with these approaches, the knee boards will be available. They're also already annexed in the ATO, but specifically for runway 3, that left turn over the boulevard to line up for the overhead is a tight one if you're not used to flying it, especially in formation. So I would encourage you guys, if you're looking for things to do, hopefully you can make the fan flight on Saturday. And if you're looking for something to do, I would recommend trying to practice some overheads for runway 3, because those procedures can be a little sporty if you're not used to the turn. For runway 2-1, be very similar. For the A10s, you're doing the strike recovery regardless. So just whatever runway changes, just changes what you do after Sarah, but you're still doing the strike. And the and I'm sorry, I messed up the A10 lines there, but from Gas Peak, you'd be cutting over to Apex. Everybody else, it'll be the Arco recovery. So once again, vector yourself direct Dream, check in with approach, and they'll get you inbound for the Arco. So main one for this is conflict for runway 2-1 primarily is going to be at Apex. So A10s, as you're approaching Apex, make sure you're looking left. Everybody else, make sure you're scanning right, approaching Apex, just looking out for each other, because Apex in for runway 2-1 is going to be the conflict zone. And then for runway 3, Gas Peak inbound is going to be the conflict. Yeah, go ahead.
Small question kind of bouncing off of that. Are we expected to be invulnerable and to do dead man procedures and dead man recovery, or should we expect a very sudden, quick affirmation of our skill issues if we get shot at?
Yeah, good question, man. Yeah, so the you're not set to invincible, and we're not gonna, just because it can be hard to determine when you actually get hit. We have training missions where you're set indestructible, and there have been times I've had to see TAC view to figure out if I died. So if you get hit, you're gonna explode, and if you don't know how to fly your jet, cartwheel yourself and thunderfuck yourself off the end of the runway, you will reap the consequences of that.
No dead man, got it.
Yeah, you got it.
While we're on that kind of side of things, I'll just brief it because I don't know if it's in the slides. With all the airspace and us using the NTTR, Redland is coming from the west, from towards the Shoshone ranges. For the purposes of like MilSim/DCS, all the AMRAMs and stuff are quote unquote simulated. What that means is you don't have to worry if your AMRAM is going to leave the outside of the NTTRs. However, all air-to-ground ordnance treat it as like real live weaponry. So make sure it's in the ranges with clearance and all that kind of good stuff. But air-to-air weapons, if Red Air is outside of the ranges, you don't need to worry about that.
But I wanted to bomb the strip.
Yeah, and so here I got the Mint recovery up, so you guys can just see what I was talking about. That turn from Las Vegas Boulevard is a little bit spicy. Here's the strike recovery. So this is, as I was saying, for the A10s from Sarah to Gas Peak, and then depending on the runway, you're either going via Simmons or Apex, but it's going to be the same plate. For the pattern procedures, hopefully everyone here knows Nell's pattern procedures, but in the event ATC tells you to fly through or you need to fly through, this is the profile you're doing. So you'd still come in for the overhead, you're just not doing the break, and then you're going to recall initial for 2-1 left via the gap to recall initial from duck. Or if you're coming in 2-1 right, you'd recall initial via flex. In the event we're active on runway 3, the 3 parallels only have 1 breakout, and that's to the north via flex. Duck is not available for 3. Any questions for ATC arrival, recovery, or airspace procedures?
I got a question.
Oh, good.
Are we going to be automatically cleared for the overhead brake, or is that going to have to be requested by ATC?
Yeah, so an overhead brake, in my experience, I don't know how they do it down in the States if it's a formal clearance, but really the tower is just sequencing you. So you hit initial, you call initial, which for Nellis is called fin. You'd report initial, tower will give you a sequence till you're number 1, at which point just regular overhead, or they might say you're number 2 following traffic in the brake or in the close, and then you'll still come in and do the overhead. It's just up to you to adjust your brake point as required to maintain the sequence tower gave you.
Got it.
So yeah, just expect the sequence, and then it's your job to do the pilot shit, fly visually, and maintain your sequence.
Just one question for ATC. I know you said to keep your -2 or 2 through 4 onto the last frequency, but I know standard procedure is usually like bringing your entire flight onto that frequency. Can we just not do that at all, or are we allowed to do a flight check-in on the frequency so then they can hear what?
Oh yeah, you should 100%, especially in ATC airspace, you should 100% all be on the same freak. Mainly from a tactical airspace standpoint, sometimes there is a benefit to having wingmen push different frequencies or monitor different frequencies. But in ATC, yeah, ideally, like there shouldn't be a need for anyone to be anywhere else other than talking to ATC at that point.
Okay, just for example, like keeping -2 on blue 1 when switching to JTAC. Like I just didn't know if the entire flight should be.
Yeah, more so a tactical decision by the flight lead, more so than like something you do in controlled airspace.
I'd clarify again on that, since you're I don't know if you're the A10 flight. If you are, the disadvantage of you bringing your -2 or whoever onto the JTAC frequency is now if there is an aircraft there's a threat towards you, you are not going to hear that unless I go tell the JTAC. -2 shouldn't need to listen to the JTAC's 9 line because you can relay that unless he's going it for both, and then you can bring him over. But you're going to lose significant SA if you are not monitoring my frequency at some capacity, especially when we know OCA is working above you. But I'm not a JTAC, so I'll let Brainiac talk about that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna tag in here real quick. This is something I was gonna bring up near the end, but one of the reasons why I do online JTACing is to figure out procedures and practice my real life shit. So I'm going to be going off my real life standards. For those cast guys, that means everyone that is taking or partaking in the 9 line has to give readbacks, whether that be have the flight lead on and he disseminates information, or have everyone on the TAD chat to be able to listen to it. I'm going to be requiring that.
Appreciate it.
There we go.
Yep.
Cool.
Plus, I don't think for A10s it should be too much. I think only CAS and Hornets are doing, only A10s and Hornets are doing CAS, and both of them have like 2 radios plus mids or FM. So in theory, they should be able to speak to a JTAC and you at the same time, and an inner flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm bringing that up, and I'll have a little spot at the end to have a discussion with the CAS guys. If you guys are willing to stay around for like 2 extra seconds for me to just say some stuff.
Yes, please.
Doesn't broadcast on guard kind of solve that whole position?
Cool. Any final questions, and then we'll kick off just the last couple slides here, and then we'll let you guys break out. Any final questions? Sweet. Okay, so DLOs for this. So RedFlag is a large-scale exercise, but it's still an exercise nonetheless. So I've got some DLOs for everybody, and then I'd encourage flight leads and controllers as well to make up your own as you see fit. Main things we're hoping for is just demonstrating interoperability between flights by operating as a package. So for those of us in squadrons who should be the majority, we know like flying alone is easy. Flying as part of a unified flight is significantly more challenging and significantly more rewarding. But now no longer are we operating just as a flight, we're operating as a package. So every decision you make, everything you choose to do and not do doesn't just impact your flight, it impacts everyone around you as well. So making sure that you first and foremost recognize those impacts, and second of all, communicate and adapt to those changes as they come up. That is sort of the main thing to demonstrate interoperability. Use good brevity and communications discipline. We all lose our words from time to time, happens to all of us, but just remember it is a push to talk, not a push to think. So if you lose your words, like all of us have experienced, let off the transmitter. Otherwise you will be either yelled at and or tastefully bullied on guard, both of which are approved by me. For the rest of them, counter air operations, so offensive, defensive, counter air with no loss of CAS to enemy aircraft. Conduct effective seed and deed ops with no loss of fighters to enemy medium range air defense, and execute your time on target ops plus or minus a very generous 1 minute. We're not aiming to fly an air show on this one, but at least give you enough of a timing for those of you who maybe aren't as versed on time on target. You at least have plus or minus 1 minute. For the game day timings, so in real life Zulu time on the left, in-game Zulu time in the next column over. So IRL Zulu time 1900 Zulu, which will be the start of the event in the Discord. That is 1900 Zulu. The mission will be paused and we'll conduct the mass pre-step brief. It's really just hammering over these slides, but at lightning speed, just to refresh everyone and get any final questions up. Max of 15 minutes for that. 15 minutes after that, flights can break out into their pre-step brief. You got 15, at least Vol 1 anyways, has 15 minutes for that. Mission is going to unpause IRL Zulu time at 1930, which will put us on in-game Zulu time of 1200 for that. Whoever was asking that question earlier. Mission will be unpaused at 1200 in-game Zulu time. Package 1 departures start 20 minutes after that. So not a lot of time. So once again, for any Vol 2 guys, just hold off. Don't feel like you have to join this, join the server right away. Give the Vol 1 guys time to get into their aircraft, get started up without bogging down the server with a bunch of joins. Package 2 just have a little patience off the hop so they can get rolling. Package 1 departure should last about 10 minutes according to the cord card. And then your push, you'll be in game at this point, so I'll move over to the in-game Zulu time. After your departures from 12:20 to 12:30, your push commence 12:45. Package 2 departures, IRL Zulu time of 2015 or in-game Zulu time of 1300. Package 2's push and Package 1 exfil 30 minutes after that, with Package 2 on station for an hour. Everybody's wheels down time no later than in-game time of 1500 Zulu for a mass brief. We'll do the mass brief about 15 minutes after the wheels down no later than time to get everyone time to power down, grab a piss, have a smoke, whatever you got to do, and then we'll get the mass brief rolling. 15 minutes after that, mass brief should be about 30 minutes, and then flights are good to break out into their individual flight debriefs after that. Server is going to be SoCal8, and the password we'll provide on the pre-step brief. For those of you who are planning on streaming, the password is going to be up on the screen, but I'm not going to verbalize it so everybody else knows. So for those of you who are planning on streaming or whatever, I just ask you plan to protect this slide, which is going to come immediately after the DLOs. And just kill the visuals on your stream just to protect that password. I'm intentionally not verbalizing it for the streamers. I just ask you all to do the same. If somebody asks, unfortunately, you're just gonna have to look at the screen. For the actual,
yep, go ahead. I was gonna say I will add for this as well, because obviously we have the IRL and in-game times. If the mission unpauses, say 5 minutes late for whatever reason, all the times for like push times and departure times and all that reference the in-game time, not real world Zulu, if there's like a change from what's on here.
Yeah, that's a good point. For the debrief itself, so everybody's going to be welcome and encouraged to attend. It's just going to be flight leads only speaking during the mass debrief, just so we can sort of respect everybody's time, and you guys can break out into your individual flight debriefs. But what we'll be hoping to hear from the flight leads is I tend to use a good, bad, ugly, and alibi lowdown on it. So something good that happened with your flight, ideally something good that you observed with the package or with the everybody else flying, if you have a shout out for somebody. Something bad that happened with your flight, and if you notice something bad that happened with another flight or anything like that, feel free to bring it up. And an ugly, this is one that I love doing because it's usually some comic relief. This is something that didn't work or that you failed at, but were able to save it through, an on-the-spot thought or something you did that ultimately saved the day, and you turned it into an ugly win. Those can sometimes be pretty funny, sometimes at two's expense, but if you guys have any uglies, it's a fun one to throw in. And then any alibis, we'll have the alibis listed in the frag orders coming out probably tomorrow. That is it for the mass brief. I'd recommend, like you guys were already sort of talking, this is just the start of the conversation, not the end of it. So I would encourage you guys to break out and have talks, if not right now, then teeing them up at some point just to sort of get talking. If you haven't taken a look through the spins, you're definitely going to want to. There's a whole lot of info in there. So just make sure you're going through all that stuff, teeing up with one another and communicating. Like I said, the intent of the mission planning here is that there's a lot of meat left on the bone for you guys to work out the details amongst yourselves. And so that's intentionally so. And without doing that, you might impact your mission success. So I'd encourage you guys to sort of get with one another and try and hammer out those details. And if there's anything that comes up, like I said, it's the start of the conversation. So if there's anything else you can think of that we haven't discussed here, feel free to throw it in the Discord, and we'll chat it out.
And Wolf brings up a good point in chat.
Yeah.
Make sure your SRS is set to. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Make sure your SRS is set to allow recording.
Yeah, thank you. I always forget that. Yeah, it's a good point. For those, yeah, and if no one knows what we're talking about here, the SRS defaults to not allowing your voice to be recorded by other players. That's just due to privacy concerns in other countries. So for anyone who's not vehemently opposed to having their voice recorded, I'd encourage you to enable that. Our controllers and our content creators use that for either for training for the controllers or for like the video you guys saw at the beginning relies on those SRS recordings. So if you want to hear yourself sounding all tactical when we start putting out marketing for the next one, just make sure you got that set to allow transmissions to be recorded. And as Saunders said, people who are streaming, whether you have that enabled or not, your voice is going to be put out there anyways. So it's preferred to have it set to record if you guys are willing.
Yeah, if you guys have any issues, just feel free to throw it into the red flag. I think we have questions area.
Yes, and on that, especially for the BAI guys, but also for the cast, because unfortunately we couldn't go as in depth with the ground portion since Kappa wasn't able to present. If any of you guys do have questions, Mage is our int dude, but also Kappa is the sort of air to ground guy. So feel free as you're going through these products, and I'll be posting a link to this slide deck here in a minute. But review all this stuff, and as you guys have questions coming up, feel free to pose questions to our int dudes. They have not seen the Miz, so they're sort of relying on White4 to figure out what info we're willing to give you and what info you'll just sort of have to figure it out in the moment. But feel free to pose those questions as they come up if you're wondering about target locations or strikes or anything like that.
So, yeah, that's one thing I'd say from the Miz Maker to you, Cookie, to the is it Merciful as the briefing guys, is I'd recommend making some kind of target brief for the dudes doing like the FOB BAI strike. That's probably like the biggest lack of intel
100%.
that I noticed in the brief.
Yeah, 100%. We had slides, and they just weren't. I didn't have them refined enough to be happy presenting them today. So we will have some products put out for the BAI guys either tomorrow or by the latest Friday.
Yeah, we're tracking.
Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, can we go over the schedule for the next couple of days? We've got like a test flight. Is that tomorrow, and then the actual flight day?
Yeah, so there's the FAM flight is going to be on Saturday, so that's optional. So if you're not able to attend, don't sweat it. It's really just an opportunity, for us to sort of stress test the server, and it's also designed to let the controllers get in. Whoever's available will be attending. So I know for sure we'll have ATC. We should have C2, and ideally at least one, if not multiple JTACs. We'll have. It's going to have. Gotham City set up so we can have JTACs running 9 lines and stuff in Gotham, and we'll hopefully have some red air spawning in and stuff for the cap guys. So really it's just Saturday is just a warm up. It's not the actual mission, but it is going to be pretty much the mission so we can stress test the box and give you guys a chance to warm up, try the procedures and all that sort of stuff. So 100% welcome to attend and encouraged to attend. It's going to be at 1900 Zulu on Saturday, so 24 hours before the mission starts is when the FAM flights are kicking off, and it's really just as I said, an open invite for you guys to do whatever training you feel is necessary or whatever you think. It's just an opportunity to do some flying.
Yeah.
Copy. Last question.
No, I was just going to add, it's going to be a watered down version of what we'll be flying on Sunday, which means when you load in theory, you'll be parked where you're flying the next day with the loadout, with the knee boards, with the Tyndalls. So it gives you and really everyone a chance to like check all those classic, because the last thing everyone wants is, we do all this run up, you do your flight brief, you're unpaused, 15 minutes in, oh yeah, we got to restart the Miz because this flight, whatever 2 is delayed to spawn because there's a static in the way, right? All this dry run will hopefully alleviate any potential problems where you can go in and be like, hey, I'm missing this knee board or my Tyndalls aren't right or anything. Like it's a chance for you to test both like your flight and the procedures and the Miz file before Miz day. So hopefully everything on Sunday runs nice and smooth.
And we'll have your DTC as part of that as well, if that question was pending for somebody. And on that, did somebody else have a question?
Yeah, I've still got one more.
Yep.
On the contingency, excuse me, there is a server issue at start. How we're going to coordinate that for the restart?
Yeah, so we'll communicate everything through the RedFlag section of the Discord. We do have a separate server box sort of on standby. Full disclosure, the backup server box hasn't handled this volume of traffic before, so it'll still be a bit of a question mark. But we do have a backup box. Regardless, we'll communicate through the RedFlag Discord if anything like that comes up.
One thing for me, so talking about the fan flight, by kind of giving the procedures a try, is it basically going to be the same as on Sunday? So for the fighters, right, more mace at 8 to Dreeb to the marshals, or is it going to be a bit more free?
That's totally up to you. Yeah, it'll be freeform. It's up to you if you want to request the Mormon Mesa 8. If, whatever procedures you want to run through, it's really designed to be your time. Just giving us an opportunity to test the box with the player count. But whatever you want to utilize that time for is totally up to you guys. I would prefer running, or I would recommend rather running through the procedures for the next day, because it's really your last chance to give it a dry run. But what you choose to do with that time is totally up to you. I just ask you if assume Gotham is being used by the JTACs, so don't just overfly Gotham without talking to anybody and start dropping bombs potentially on their targets. So yeah.
The one thing, because as the person doing the misfile stuff for Saturday, because unlike mission day where we're going to have Vol 1 and Vol 2, to be able to have certain flights practicing doing the same things at the same time that on actual mission day wouldn't be possible. What might end up happening is, like, obviously on Sunday we're all operating south of the container, whereas on Saturday it might well be that we kind of have an air-to-air range up north of the container and then let the cast guys do stuff at Gotham City to the south. So for you, Rich, like if you come and fly and want to do BVR, you just won't be in the same section of airspace, which might be a little bit different.
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. Any other questions or anything before we pack it up?
Yeah, I got two quick ones.
Send them.
So for the BAI flights, I know it's set for 2 38s and 2 12s a piece. Is there any leniency on like a jet or two to take, 2 2,000 pounders, or is it just going to be set? 'Cause I don't know how much is at the fob.
100%. I've just loaded the jets on something that seemed reasonable.
Yep.
Go nuts. Load whatever. Because you guys doing a BAA strike and actually like seeing the target area that you guys are hitting, I'd say 100% makes sense that if you wanted, because you probably don't need the 12s, for example. Like having 2 jets with 2 2000s and 2 jets with 4 38s or whatever. If you want to speak to me after this, I'll get your loadout set with whatever you want.
Okay. And then second question. So it says to basically utilize the available sides. Is it?
Sorry, your noise gate was kicking in there, dude. I couldn't hear you. Say again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So with the intelligence portion of it, is it us gathering intelligence and passing it to C2 to see what they want to do, or is it kind of like we get the intel and then rock from that?
Yeah, you guys can plan to have enough intel to do a pre-frag strike. So you can reach out. We will get products built for you tomorrow. My hope was to have them done today, and I missed the mark on that. That was my failure. But we'll get that out to you tomorrow, and that will have sufficient info for you to know what it is you'll be looking at, what to expect, and then anything beyond what's provided in those slides, you can reach out to Mage as sort of the intelligence guy. You can make your request with him, and then we'll see what other details we might be able to glean for you.
Yeah,
Hello.
Expect for your flight to have predetermined dimpies on things like buildings, and then targets of opportunity such as parked aircraft that you'll obviously have to hit yourself. But yeah, a mix of both at the area.
So a large part of targeting is what we call RFIs, or request for information. If there's specific information you want to know prior to these strikes, put it out in the chat. Just at me at merciful.267, and I can build tailored products to what you're looking for. Just make sure you give it to me ahead of time, because I need time to bounce that with the mission makers and make sure that's practical is what we're trying to accomplish in RedFlag.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was any kind of like target info where it's a building, you guys already have the intel to say, hey, this building is, X coordinate. So it's, 2 of our guys could just already preload it and just lob these things in and,
That's the
worry
intent.
about.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry to add to the pile.
No,
Cookie,
go ahead.
do you guys want a BDA on seed? Well, probably just deed and strike targets. Or is that
yeah.
going to be handled more like JTAC and FACA is going to provide that?
Yeah, I mean, BDA is always good. Just sort of read the room with the radio. But if there's a spot to send a BDA, absolutely send it. The only one that's pre-fragged is the BAI, because that is sort of the cue for the seed guys changing their mission set. So seed has, well, you've read the ATO, so you know what the plan is. But once BAI strike is complete, then that cues the seed guys to adjust their mission.
Copy.
Beyond that, yeah, if there's a BDA you want to send, and the radio is free, more info is better than no info. So.
Yeah, I think passing on if that 11 site is completely destroyed, that's definitely crucial information for the C2 and the package as
For
a whole.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And last point I have as well is for anyone streaming, feel free to throw your info for if you're going to be streaming or if you're posting to YouTube or whatever else, feel free to throw your info and we'll make sure to spread that along within our lines as well. Cool. Anything else?
Cookie, I had one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Just for Reaper Flight, we're down to a 3-ship again.
I'm tracking it. Yeah.
Okay. Copy.
I heard. Reaper. Yeah, Reaper 3-ship.
Yeah, Octo's out. I'll try to fill it. Second thing, and I'll just post this as a backup, but if we could just get a estimated number, like total number of aircraft and like based on type and location, that'd be great.
Yeah, we've got national level numbers. They'll be in this slide deck, I believe, but also in the either the ATO or the frag order that's coming out tomorrow. But yeah, that info will be available.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Cool. Anybody else?
Yep.
Yep.
Are the exports or whatever going to be enabled so the 15E mod works or no?
If
Probably
that's a
avoid
server
question.
On the server side?
If that's server side, provided we're on SoCal 8, yes. If not SoCal 8, unconfirmed. But if it's Miz side, then it'll be avoid questions.
Can you normally do it on SoCal 8? From my understanding, it's a server side thing. But
Yeah,
then you
I think
should
so
be
as well.
able to.
Rectangles is tracking that too.
Okay, so it is good on both?
Yes. Well,
Okay, so yeah.
Speak for my side.
It should be good on SoCal 8, and in the event worst case scenario and SoCal 8 implodes, our backup server has it as well, or will allow it.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. All right. If there aren't any other questions, you guys, like I said, feel free to coordinate and break out into your own groups. But welcome to RedFlag, and like I said, this is the start of the conversation, not the end of it. So any other questions, toss them in the Discord. But that's all I've got. Thanks a lot, and enjoy. We'll talk to you guys on Saturday.